this bet. I think there's something going on with the tea. But I'm not sure about the idea of just making them more docile. I mean, this last bit of research we saw in this episode was definitely about bringing back some part of their humanity.
Right.
This next email comes from Devin, who writes, just wondering if either of you guys have noticed that a few of the actors that play zombies have been seen more than once. I swear I've seen the same person zombified and killed, then seen them again in another episode. How about you?
That's a good question, but I'm going to have to say maybe.
I think that it's probably pretty likely because how many thousands of walkers have we seen in this show at this point? And there's not an unlimited supply of people
extras.
to play zombies. Yeah.
Perhaps people who play extras multiple times. Good email.
Could be. We're wondering.
Yes. Next email comes from Allison from New York, who writes, why didn't they bring Axel or Beth to Woodbury like they volunteered? That's a really good question because you're right. They both did volunteer. Maybe it was just Rick saying, okay, you, and you. I mean, he knows for sure that Oscar can fire a gun, and he knows for sure that certainly Daryl can, and he needed to bring Michonne, and not an endless number of people can fit into the Hyundai. I mean, the Hyundai's great. Don't get me wrong. It's the ultimate zombie apocalypse mobile. But I think he brought people that were sure to be good shots. He doesn't know about Axel. Axel could freeze up, and he doesn't know about Beth. She could also freeze up. So that's what I think.
Well, and they got a baby to take care of back home at the prison.
Yes.
And I think also that at this point, and one might wish that this lesson had been learned before the only doctor they have, or sort of doctor, almost died.
Right.
But I think at this point, Rick wants either combat experienced or, the tougher sort of people.
That's a good call. Good call, Rick. We agree with you completely.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to have people along where you have to rescue them if they get into trouble.
Right.
Just as an aside, I noticed on the AMC website on how this episode was made, they had a little thing on how Herschel's missing leg is done.
Yeah.
And because I always kind of assumed just that they strapped his leg up in some way.
Right.
But it's not. He wears a bright green sock, and then they electronically remove his leg. They paint in behind it.
In post-production.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and he said, so you mean this all cost more than me?
He's adorable.
Yes. Andrew writes, holy shit, Jason and Karen, where do I begin? Fuck, fuckity fuck. Am I sensing that this is a popular saying on this show? Poor Maggie. In all seriousness, I'm heartbroken to see Maggie dehumanized like that by that evil bastard governor. Glenn is a badass taking that zombie down with a chair leg. So sweet that they kept the baby's name from the comics. I predict a few character deaths next week when Rick's group takes the prison. Oscar, I think he means takes Woodbury.
Yeah.
Oscar and perhaps Merle go down, in my opinion. I want to hear your thoughts on if Glenn and Maggie will escape the evil clutches of Woodbury. Thanks for letting me vent, and don't get bit.
Thanks for writing, Andrew. Those are good predictions. It sounds like you've read the comic, though, so I don't know how prediction-y these really are. My thoughts are that Glenn and Maggie cannot not be harmed. They are too adorable, and I freaking love them, so don't harm Glenn and Maggie, you people.
I saw the look on your face when Glenn's beautiful face was being disfigured by Merle.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it was awful. No, don't pick on Glenn, man.
I'm going to jump in and say that this show has not been shy about killing off characters we care about. So I think one of them gets it.
You're wrong. And I'll bet you a beer. And finally, we got an email this week from one of our listeners, Kenny, and Kenny deserves a special shout out this week. And just want to tell you, hang in there, kid. And we're sending you lots of love and gax. All right, we have a couple more reactions to this week's episode. We'll just do a quick little back and forth. First, this one comes from Trisha, who writes, I really love that Rick didn't have to explain anything to Carol that she just knew. Yeah, that's great writing, in my opinion.
Jason says Michonne must have felt she ended up in another Woodbury.
Yeah, exactly. Drea says, whoa, Glenn's inner badass explodes. Exactly.
Jennifer says, love Glenn. He is awesome. The expression on Karen's face says she thinks so too.
Jason writes, that was suspenseful.
This is not our Jason, by the way.
Right.
Jim says, thought Maggie was going the way of, oh, never mind. No comic spoilers, right? But those who read know what I mean.
Thank you, Jim, for respecting that. Jerry writes, Glenn is a major badass.
Drea says, Andrea isn't a total idiot.
Jason writes, Milton is.
Jerry says, Milton wants to record his findings and clean his shorts.
Jason writes, well, they're still freshly soiled.
Jerry says, love the tossing of the hermit to the walkers. The hermit, that's a good word. How come we didn't think of that word?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's what that crazy guy is. Tim writes, it's getting better and better with each episode. They just better not kill off Glenn. Well said, my friend.
Drea says the hermit played dead for a long time before Rick took off his blankie. Good point.
Natalie writes, wow, my heart is still pounding. Glad to see Michonne finally join the family. Hope Daryl stays loyal to Rick. I think he will.
And Jason says, let's call the hermit Linus.
It's hilarious.
Poor Linus. We barely knew him.
Okay, we had a couple of calls this week. The first call is from Thomas, who asked to leave a review of the second Walking Dead novel called The Road to Woodbury.
Hey, Walking Dead cats, this is Tom. I'm here doing my review of the Jay Bonasinga, Robert Kirkman novel, The Road to Woodbury. We'll start off with a brief description. It follows one of the characters from the comic book named Lily Call, as well as another character that we meet, Bob, who is the medic in the comic book with the governor. Kind of from the beginning of the apocalypse up to her journey to Woodbury. There's a couple of things that this book did really, really well, and a couple of things that this book did not improve on from the previous novel. My first gripe is that there's a lot of adjectives and adverbs, and it literally looked like the author had a thesaurus with him when he was writing the book. And it made things seem just kind of over the top. There's actually a couple of points where I had to go to a dictionary to look up words that he had used, and seeing as how I was going to be majoring in English, I find that to be just a little over the top. The second gripe that I had with this is that this book contradicts other things in the series. This book is supposed to be canon to the comic book series, and the video game is supposed to be canon to the comic book series, the video game being the one from Telltale. And this contradicts both of those in certain areas, and that kind of gives me an issue with that. My third gripe is the ending. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but if they had stopped the book about 5 or 6 chapters previously, it would have ended the exact same way that they did with the last 6 chapters. This book did a lot of things well. As far as the positives go, if you enjoy zombies, this book will not disappoint you. There's one point, again, I won't spoil anything, but there's one point where the author goes to great detail to mention how many zombies there are in the immediate area, and it says something along the lines of 4,611. That's the biggest herd that we have seen in the comic book, in the TV series, in any form of The Walking Dead. That's 4,600 zombies. The second thing that I really, really enjoyed was you got to see an evolution of and that's big for anything that's written about, nonetheless, The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is nothing if not an evolution of the characters. And so you get to see Lily, you get to see Bob, you get to see a few new characters that kind of help progress Lily to the point where she's at in the comic book, and you get to see the governor, and you kind of get to see how he's become this big, huge, powerful man in Woodbury, how he's brought the townspeople together, and how he takes care of them. Overall, if I had to rate this, I would give it 3.5 brains. It's not something that I would go out and actively look for.
So thanks for that, Thomas. Thomas also sent an email adding that, I called in, I got cut off at the end, but if I wanted to add that It's not something I would actively go out and look for, but if the local library has it or something, then check it out. Thanks again.
That's great. Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah.
This next phone call comes from Jason from San Francisco.
Hey, Karen, it's Jason. I was just wondering when you're going to be over here to do the podcast. It's like 5 o'clock and you're not here. Just kidding. I can't wait to listen to how you guys are doing, but really I just wanted to call and say happy birthday because today is your birthday, so happy birthday to you, and I will see you in a few days. Bye.
I think that was Zombie for happy birthday. Thanks, Jason. That's so sweet. You little brat.
Taking time while on assignment. To wish you a happy birthday. Very strong.
It's maybe one of the best zombie sounds I've ever heard. It's really scary.
Maybe that was a zombie blowing out the candles.
And making a wish. What would a zombie wish for?
Right.
Nicely said. Except, these zombies would wish for just about any body part at this point. Anything young and tender and juicy.
Fresh.
Like Carl. Or the baby.
Or the hermit.
Yeah, or the hermit. Or the out-of-touch hermit. All right, it's time for some comic talk with Jason and Jaden. Take it away, guys.
Hey everybody, I'm just going to drop in and do this comic talk section with Jaden. As usual, if you haven't read the comic and you don't want to maybe be spoiled on something that might or might not happen in the show, you should just go ahead and skip ahead to the next section now. You wanted to do both episodes, the one that we missed last week and this week's. So the biggest thing from last week's episode, Hounded, that kind of reminded me of the comic, of course, was Rick going nuts and getting on the phone. Right?
Oh, yeah. The phone part was amazing. I mean, to have more than just Lori on the phone really added to his insanity level, just to hear from everybody that he blames himself for getting killed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Did you like it better that it wasn't just Lori?
Yeah, I actually did like it better because it also gives him a reason to keep answering it. Because if it was just Lori, he's going to catch on a lot faster because he's got to know his own wife's voice on the phone.
Yeah, that's right, huh? And I think that's probably, now that you mention it, one of the reasons why they didn't have it as Lori, because in the comic you don't hear the voice, so you don't know. But in the show, maybe we would have recognized Lori's voice a lot sooner, too. And I also think that's why they didn't, or at least maybe that's why they didn't include Dale or Shane, because we know them better, so we might have recognized them.
Yeah, I did pick out Jim as soon as he started talking.
Did you? I didn't.
Yeah. The second time through, I recognized all of them, but the first time, all I picked up was on Jim. Mm-hmm. But one of the nice things I like is also by doing it this way, they don't give Rick a reason to carry the phone around with him for extended periods now. Because in the comic, he took the phone with him and was picking it up anytime he got stressed out just to talk to Lori.
Yeah, and I wonder, they still might do that. I don't know. I kind of hope they do. I don't want it to just be over, because there was something, even though it's twisted, kind of comforting about that he could have that release. And it's just such a weird and interesting story detail that I think it would be cool if they picked it up again at some point.
Yeah, that is true. And it was kind of neat when Carl finally caught him and
yeah,
Carl tried to explain to Rick that, dude, Mom's dead.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a neat thing to see Carl's maturity a little more than Rick in one area.
Right. It's like, pull it together, Dad. I also remember in the comic, we have Michonne. Before we know her very well, somebody catches her talking to herself. And so we're thinking, oh, what kind of wacko is this? And, later on, sort of the same thing happens to Rick. But since we know him so well, maybe we have a little more sympathy. And then for me, anyway, I went back and had more sympathy for Michonne. But I wonder if they're just going to leave that out with Michonne, or if she's going to pick it up too in the show.
Yeah, honestly, I don't see her doing it. The TV character feels so much different in that respect from the comic version.
I mean, so far, I agree with you, but I wish that they would bring in some of the more fleshed out elements of Michonne that are in the comic, instead of her just having her be this one note character that's in the show so far.
See, it works really well in the comic, But if they try to do it on TV, you're going to get a lot of fans going, "Oh, well, that's the same thing they do with Rick. That's
yeah.
lazy writing."
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, that's pretty much those are like the main items from last week's episode that I picked up from the comics. So what about this week? When the Dead Come Knocking.
Yeah, we got some really cool stuff this week, I thought. In the comic, we get the whole interrogation of Glenn and Michonne and Rick when they go to Woodbury. And so we had it turned on its head a little bit this time with Glenn and Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
And we got stuff like instead of Glenn listening to Michonne being tortured after he got beat up, it's Maggie listening to Glenn getting beat up.
Right.
To wear her down.
Which is more impactful because they're together, so it's harder for her to listen to a loved one being tortured.
Yeah, something I picked up on that I thought was really neat was when the governor was trying to mess with Maggie, you could see him kind of testing the waters of, if I threaten her, nothing happens. If I threaten Glenn, she does exactly what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, he was sort of playing with different ways to motivate, and he found the right one.
Yeah, he started off with kind of that good cop thing, and then that didn't work, and then he started threatening her, and nothing happened. Then as soon as he says, I'm going to bring Glenn's hand in here, she told him everything he wanted to know, did everything he wanted her to do.
So I was wondering a couple of things about this. It is, the governor's weird molestation of Maggie, is that a stand-in for what he did to Michonne in the comic, which was much more brutal? It was torture and rape repeatedly, or was that thing with Maggie just foreshadowing? And will he do that to Michonne in the series? I kind of don't think so. I think they're toning things down.
Yeah, I think they're going to tone it down on that a little bit. I'm kind of hoping they do, at least, because I can't imagine that's going to be easy to watch.
No.
And I'm really hoping this is it, but I can still see it as foreshadowing as well.
It's weird because I sort of hope it is too, because that was the only issue of the comic that I ever felt like, oh, was that really necessary? No, actually, I'm wrong. The issue that I was wondering whether it was necessary is when Michonne goes back and chops the governor up into little pieces. I mean, I think she needed to get her revenge, but I just didn't know if we needed to see every detail of it. But still...
yeah, they could have handled it like the Watchmen movie with Rorschach going after Big Figure, and he just goes into the bathroom with him, and that's all you see, and he just comes out when he's done. Just kind of leave it to our imaginations, because our imagination is always worse than what you're going to show.
So they could, if they do come back to this in the show and have the governor torture and rape Michonne, they could do it that way, where it's all off screen, but it's heavily implied.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen to Michonne, though. I really don't. If it happens to anyone, it's going to be Maggie.
Maggie. Yeah, that's horrible to think of. So yeah, I don't want that, but there's a small part of me that wants this show to be just as edgy and uncomfortable as the comic is.
Yeah.
Baby Judith got her name. It's the same.
Yep. Same name, just a different method of getting it.
Mm-hmm. But this is maybe another example of how they might be toning it down, because, of course, Baby Judith meets this gruesome death in the comic, and it looks like that's not going to happen in the show.
Yeah, I still hold to it that I think Lori didn't get killed by that shotgun blast. Looked more like Judith blew up on her.
I think Kirkman said that Lori was killed by the gun, but she fell on Judith and smothered her.
Ooh, that's even more gruesome.
I know. I think that's about all I had.
I caught something that just I've got to mention just for my own entertainment here, but the music at the very end of the episode definitely took a more digital sounding turn than it has been for the rest of the series. Because they've always used organic instruments, and this is the first time it went to the digital end, and it honestly sounded more like something I would write than what Bear McCreary's been writing.
It worked really well, I thought. It was
I ate it up. That was amazing.
Yeah. Yep, cool stuff. Okay, Jaden, while I've got you here, I don't know if people know this, probably not, but Jaden is not only a talented musician and a geeky comic book reader, but he's also an entomologist. So I thought it would be fun to ask you about the bug that appears in the opening credits.
Well, I'm actually a big fan of this bug. One of my specialties is centipedes. And the centipede you're looking at is a Vietnamese centipede. If anyone wants to be geeky enough, the Latin is Scolopendra subspinipes. And it's a very, very dangerous centipede. It's got some pretty strong venom in it. They get about 10 inches in length. And they're only found over in Asia. But they've made their way into the pet trade in the U.S., so people do keep these as pets. And to find one in Georgia would not be too out of the question. It'd most likely be someone's pet getting out. But my big thing is it wouldn't have survived that first winter. They don't do U.S. winters very well.
But
So that's my big thing on it being there.
And I wonder, it's cool that it's so dangerous. I wonder if they picked a really nasty one to fit with a theme.
I think they just picked it because it's really big and neat looking.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
man.
it's one of the more dangerous ones.
Okay. All right. We'll see you for the finale.
Definitely, I'll be here.
Okay.
Okay, next week on The Walking Dead. This is the finale to the mid-season finale, so the first half of the third season. The title of the episode is Made to Suffer. And the little official description is, Andrea steps up as the people of Woodbury are thrown into uncharted territory. At the prison, a new threat arises. Yikes.
Made to suffer, so it's cheerful.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Things are looking up.
When are they not made to suffer? I mean, come on. The cool thing is, the mid-season finale is written by one Robert Kirkman. You may have heard of this guy. It's pretty neat. He is the first one he's written of this season, so I'm really, really excited. His episodes are always really strong, so I'm looking forward to the finale. And it's directed by Billy Gerhardt, who's actually done quite a few. He's directed quite a few of The Walking Dead's, including Sick this season, last season Triggerfinger and Cherokee Rose. He's also directed shows like Sons of Anarchy, which I hear is fantastic, and Torchwood. Both of them are on my list of shows to go back and watch. So should be good, and I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, we'll be back to recording our live chat next Monday. So that's the day after the mid-season finale, Monday at 4:30 Pacific time. So join us for the live chat, and we'll be back with Jason next week. So that's our show, episode 82. Thanks for listening, everyone.
If you'd like to leave the Walking Dead cast a message, you can call at 650-485-DEAD, 650-485-3323.
You can email us at brains@walkingdeadcast.com.
You can check out our website at walkingdeadcast.com. And don't forget to click through our Amazon link on there whenever you shop at amazon.com. Christmas, Hanukkah, the season is here.
Go buy stuff. We're also on Twitter at Jason and Karen, and on Tumblr at walkingdeadcast.tumblr.com. Oh, it's so fun. You should really check out our Tumblr page. And on Facebook at facebook.com/deadcast. Be sure to check out the Tumblr page, like I just said, to see pictures of everyone who entered our zombie get-up contest. There's some really great entries, so go to our Tumblr page and check it out. Tune in next week for our thoughts on the mid-season finale. All right, that's our show.
Thanks for listening.
Don't get bit, Jason. Blah, blah, blah. Comic talk, blah, blah, blah. Brains. Like that, Jace? That's for you.
What does it mean to live for the common good? Introducing the Garrison Institute presents The Common Good, the brand new podcast from the Garrison Institute, a leading not-for-profit organization exploring the intersection of contemplation and engaged action in the world. Hosted by me, Jonathan F.P. Rose, a co-founder of the Garrison Institute, the series dives into the threads that bind us all. First, you'll discover the interdependent nature of life with environmental entrepreneur Paul Hawken and trailblazing plant intelligence researcher Monica Gagliano. Next, we unlock the mysteries of the mind with renowned psychiatrist Dan Siegel and Pulitzer Prize-winning author Siddhartha Mukherjee. Finally, we experience compassion in action with social justice activist Conda Mason and environmental leader Bill McKibben. We invite you to listen, reflect, and join us in acting for the common good. Follow the Garrison Institute Presents The Common Good on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening now.